question. If the treasure in my chest is live enough for resurrection, do I practice what I profess, or just practice professing? When unexpectedly beckon to the midst of the wreckage, I'm asking to be uplifted with an authentic affection. We're broken, yes, but irresistibly, inextricably, inseparably connected. Alone and perfect, but together, we help mend back together the most perfect bridge.
Building bridges, breaking chains, bearing burdens, hope remains. We will rise up like the sun. Led by the risen one. Rise up, oh God, with blessings on your people. Rise up together. Your love's gonna break the chains.
And where are we? We're in Detroit.
With blessings on your people.
Some people have written the city off as God-forsaken. But we know that the places the world calls God-forsaken is exactly where God is at work.
Everywhere I go, people think I'm naive and a little out of touch because I believe it is possible to end poverty and hunger, and that our faith and church can make a difference so that all are fed. God has called and created each of us for such a time as this and task as ending hunger, and I invite you to join me. Thank you for all that you do to combat poverty and hunger already, and for all that we will do together here this week. Let's rise up together. Thank you.
But I'm here tonight to say that we can't afford to be silent. I mean, is there anybody here who wants to rise up? Here tonight we have 30,000 disciples. Rise up together, resurrection revolutionaries. Say no to death, and you say no to hate, and you say no to despair. And then what do? You go over to the empty tomb, and then you look at hell and you tell hell to go to hell.
Well, we had a large gathering at Ford Field, and the sermon, the guy who had the long sermon, spoke about how your fear, people's fear, keeps your voice suppressed, and kind of touched like a lot of people fear hatred or people thinking bad of them, and they should really kind of block that out and like fight for the good in the world and like equality among all people. And I think that's part of what the whole what the whole Rise Up thing is, to fight for people who have it worse than us and struggle because of inequality and economically, socially, or politically.
But a lot of people had like bad thoughts about Detroit coming in. Like they thought it was like a God-forsaken city, as they keep saying. But it's really not that bad. It's even comparable to like Baltimore. I'm finding similarities every day. But I think a lot of people's thoughts have changed, because it's not just like a barren wasteland. It's not crime everywhere. They're actually real people in the city. They're the same as us. So if we can like come together, I see how we can come together. But they have been welcoming us, even though we're like clogging up the streets and everything, because we're trying to help them. And they're seeing this, and they're not thinking about like the bad things. They're embracing us. And I really think my thoughts have really changed about the city, because I was thinking, oh, they're clogging up the streets, everybody get mad. But they're still embracing us, even through what might be bad effects on the city. But we're also helping the economy. And Greektown is packed. There's like hour and 30-minute wait every restaurant there was. But, I think if someone else were to come here, that they would find their assumptions and what really would happen would also be different.
Let's go. This is the way that we rise. Jesus will make us alive, loving our neighbors, and we love them in the name of our God. Compassion, not just words but action, rising from the ashes just like Lazarus from the casket. God is in the neighborhood, get it,
to thank my mom and my dad for not abandoning me. I'd like to thank my church for sending me here, and I'd like to thank the other kids on the bus for not letting me sleep at all.
What are we going to do today? What do you think?
I think we're going to make food and serve it to people.
Today, I felt a really good connection between fellow worshipers that I actually realized were in my area of my state, and I thought that was kind of cool because I didn't really find anyone from Maryland just walking around the convention center or during the gathering, and especially because no one, like all the DJs or like the people never called out Maryland. Or there was like Wisconsin, Ohio, all that, and like Michigan. So it was kind of cool to realize that there were actually a few, I don't know, like 100 people or 100 people that were actually there.
There was 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah, in the big area.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome to just see. The only problem I had is just I didn't meet a lot of new people. There wasn't a lot of mingling. So if I was like to recommend something, I would recommend like maybe like a mixer. So like you ended up putting something you wanted to abolish, like hate or prejudice, something like that, and you put it on the thing and they ripped it down, and I thought that was pretty cool. And as soon as I heard the rip, I was like, what's that? And then I looked around and I saw all that stuff coming down. I was like, hey, this gives me hope and like the joy that this might actually be getting rid of someday.
Yeah.
But besides just the lack of mingling, everything was great during this Synod day.
Cool.
I was really glad we got a chance to worship with fellow people from our state.
Excellent. Hey, David, Jesus is?
Good news.
Good news.
As we gather here tonight, I want to tell you that the joy that I have to serve our Lord Jesus Christ fills my heart, my soul, my spirit, but it is also in my last name. See, my last name is Abdul Masi, literally from the Arabic language that means servant of the Messiah, servant of Christ. I was born and raised in Jerusalem, not too far from where Jesus was born in Bethlehem. I often say Jesus and I grew up together. He was my cousin, but I was a little bit taller. But indeed, as we come, so often we forget that there are Christians in the Middle East. I remember next door to us when our Muslim friends were under attack because of Islamophobia, which is rooted in xenophobia, the fear of the other and the fear of the strangers. We stood together with them, side by side, hand by hand, because we would not accept our sisters and brothers to be treated in such a way.
What was a God moment for you at this gathering?
The death of Darius Simmons from, I forget what church it was, but it was from a church in Michigan. Yeah, Michigan. He was
Okay.
Here. His 75-year-old white neighbor shot him while he was taking out the trash.
Darius should be at this gathering. My church took his older brothers 3 years ago, and he should be here tonight. Darius should be in one of those seats, maybe sitting right next to you.
I think what really got to some people was that he was our age when he was shot. Like, he was 13 in 2012, and he wasn't even doing anything. His mom, she had moved in a safer neighborhood. and that's where he got killed. So I think that's what got most people.
Yeah. So what's something we can do in response to that?
Not let racism harden your heart, I guess. It's not worth it. It's irrelevant.
And Jesus is saying to us, come, cross over my bridge of love. Cross over my bridge of life and help me build it. Jesus says, I have shown you the way. Now come and follow. Jesus says, be an instrument of my peace.
When we walked into the Kobo Center in the beginning on Saturday, it was pretty busy, and there was like a lot of people were just the energy was very high. Everybody was so positive, and there was a lot of people dancing and singing and stuff. So we went into this like huge room where there was just games and learning activities, and the first thing that you see is the Walk for Water thing. And you see lots of people like carrying water around and going through obstacles like a lot of people have to every day. And then you see people like cheering them on. You see like a lot of people donating, and the donations were almost a competition between like each of the synods. It's like, who can give more money?
Yeah. For clean water, right?
Yeah, for clean water. So then we walked around, and our group decided to do dodgeball, but with a disability. So they would give you a wheelchair, crutches, or something to make your sight not good while we played dodgeball. And it was really interesting to see how a lot of people have to experience that like every single day, but you had to experience it. So it was like a way that you can learn to be with different kinds of people and play with different kinds of people no matter what.
During my experience in Detroit, went to the Kobo Center, and they had a lot of different exhibits. One was Peace Not Walls. It was about children in Palestine being controlled by the Israeli government and their experiences like in school and their basic events. And that brings up the point of what the whole conference or gathering was about, was to build bridges. And what they mostly talked about were the bridges that can be formed between both Israeli and Palestine.
General Vibe was just all around amazing. People were positive wherever you went, high fives, hugs, no matter where you went. You couldn't be in a bad mood. And that's the best thing I could have taken away from this trip. You know, we bring it back to where we were. And on the way back when we came to Ohio in our other hotel, just bring that back. And just that vibe was just insane. I couldn't have asked for anything better.
Awesome. So what are you going to bring back to Baltimore from that?
Definitely that positivity, no matter what. Like, it's changed me, but definitely personally, because I wasn't that much of a positive person. I haven't been very out of my shell or open with people. So I feel like this trip has really taught me to be a lot more open and just let loose a couple times.